Okay. Hello, ladies. It's so nice to be here with you today. I am so glad that I had a chance to get to know some of you. And let me just tell you a little bit about myself. So I am really glad that you're here to join me for this next hour as I share with you some of the things that I do as a so as an art professional. So I am a retired art teacher. So I taught art for over 20 years, and then I did a career change and became a life coach. And I now have a practice where I do life coaching as well as hypnotherapy. And a couple of years ago, I got involved with the Brain Wellness Program at UBC, which is all about finding holistic approaches to helping people who have brain conditions like multiple sclerosis or Alzheimer, um, MS, so MS, Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. And they started this program called the Brain Wellness Program in a way to create more of a holistic approach in helping foster things that would be good for brain health. And so each week I teach a class called Artful Living there, where I share with them information about an artist, and we learn about that artist and find ways to get creative and to connect with one another and become informed. And especially with COVID, we know how difficult it has been to be connected. And so the Brain Wellness Program has multiple, they have probably about 25 different classes that are being offered and to the public for people who have brain conditions, or to people who are the caretakers of the brain conditions, or just to anyone who is interested in brain health and in aging better. So it has been really fun to teach there because it gives me the opportunity to bring together my art experience as well as my therapeutic experience. And so now I know that Angie was, not Angie, but Michelle was saying that she loves art. Now, how about you? When I say art and creativity, tell me, just in short, just tell me, what are some things that you like to do creatively? Is it painting? Is it drawing? Is it cooking? Is it, whatever it might be? So Angie, go ahead. Tell me,
Native art.
what was that?
Native art.
Native art. What is it that you like about native art?
I know I really like their carving.
They're carving like in the totem poles, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah. And British Columbia has got such amazing native art that we were able to enjoy. Yes. And the colors are so vibrant, and it's all, so much of the art is based around nature, on animals, and things that are very prevalent here in British Columbia. Yes. How about you, Christina? What do you like to do creatively?
Since COVID started, I've been painting.
What do you like to paint?
Um, just whatever I do it online. So I just find it's mostly like animals and flowers and stuff, like easy stuff at first. Because
Yeah,
I'm just starting.
that's the best way to do, is just choose something that's easy. So is it watercolors that you're using, or is it acrylic?
It's acrylic.
Yeah, acrylics are great to work with. And um, when so pre-COVID, did you do a lot of art before?
Nope,
No,
nope.
that is great. How about you, Sheena? What do you like to do creatively?
My art, let's see. Singing, when I harmonize, that's using the neuropathic new ways of singing. So because of this COVID time, I have I can do that while the choir sing, the Patty Power, for example, would sing her songs, and then she would mute everybody. So, and then I can just sort of use my ear or whatever when she's singing, and then I can just harmonize, when she moves everybody. So it's I just miss the live experience where it's really using the heart and soul and the ear and whatever music skill that I've had when I was a piano player. Before I was quite well. I don't want to brag about myself, but that's intense learning. Going to the performance piano, so that's all kind of lost now because my disability from my fingers more slower and memory problem, and I don't want to focus on I can't do anything. But drawing is very good. I like drawing, painting, watercolor painting or something of that. So I haven't really diverted into that because my other is cooking, where I vary my flavors in terms of that. But if I do everything, and then I have no energy to actually paint. So I've a long time ago I bought this from Walmart. It's a clay cat, and I think the painting is all dried up. So because I wanted to paint just, how would I paint this cat? The picture of the clay cats. And so I haven't done that yet. And so, yeah. And they have art classes in Strive or something of that. It's just me finding the time to do that. So that's why I just like to learn from you in terms of, how do we move forward in art?
Great. Thank you very much. So I can see that we have very creative people here, just like Michelle was saying that she enjoys art as well, and Angie with her native art, and Christina experimenting with painting, and Sheena with singing and music and piano. That's wonderful. So that's the thing about creativity, is that creativity allows us to, it can show up in so many different ways. And so in my Artful Living class, it's all about for each of my students to be able to find opportunities, whether it be in cooking or in gardening or in knitting or crocheting or playing the piano or singing. It's an opportunity for us to use the right side of the brain, because that's where so much of that creativity happens. And when we're engaged in those activities, what happens is that the brain creates these neurotransmitters, and they create these hormones like dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin and endorphins, all of which make us feel good. So when we're engaged in those processes, they really do, we always do feel so much better. So today I love to share with you a little bit about an artist, and I'm going to put on the share screen. And when you look at these things, I want you to think about which artist is it that I am going to tell you about. So Artful Living is the opportunity for people to come together to be connected, to be creative, and be informed. So let me see. Michelle, I am pressing my button that usually advances, and it doesn't seem to be happening. Michelle.
All right. If you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
And then just try re-sharing.
Try it again. Okay. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's not letting me advance. Shoot. Technology is great when it works. Let me try it again. Okay. Yeah, it's not advancing. So,
Okay. Hmm.
Thank you for being so patient, everybody. Okay, there, it's working. Oh, well, hang on a second. Can everybody see it right now?
No.
No. Okay. Well, that doesn't help.
Share your screen one slide at a time until
Yeah, I'm pressing on the advance button and nothing is happening.
Press on the screen itself where it says Artful Living in your slide.
Oh, that worked. Thank you very much, Michelle. It's always great having an assistant. All right, so here are some samples of this painting that is being done by an artist. And so some of these paintings you may be familiar with. So take a look at them. And when you're looking at them, I want you to just kind of look at the colors, look at the subject. How do these paintings make you feel? Look at the colors, look at the subject. How does it make you feel? And as you're looking at these paintings, these 3 paintings were actually done by the same painter. But when you're actually looking at them, you can see that there's quite a bit of difference in between the colors, in between the subject, and in between just the feeling that you get from these paintings. Now, have any of you seen these paintings before? No? Okay. So these are some of the paintings of an artist named Henri Matisse. And Henri Matisse was a French painter and artist. And this is a picture of him when he was very much younger. So Henri Matisse was actually studying to be a lawyer when he got very sick with appendicitis. And it was during that time where his mom got him some paints because he was stuck in bed. And during that time, he spent it in recovery doing some painting. And he discovered how much he had forgotten how much he loved painting. And because he rediscovered the joy of painting, he said it felt like paradise. And he just decided at that point that he did not want to be a lawyer anymore. And he wanted to become an artist. And so this painting was one where he was born in 1869. So here he's almost 30 years old, and he gets his first break when this painting was purchased by the French government. And now it hangs in the Museum of Modern Art in Paris. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. Now, I want you to take a look at his paintings again, and I want you to tell me what is something that, which one do you like the best? And what is it that you like about it? So here he is, Henri Matisse. This one looks like leaves. Here we have people who are dancing. This looks like he's looking out a window onto an ocean with boats. And here is a lovely one with a fish tank. So which ones do you like? Angie, which one was your favorite?
This one.
This one. What do you like about it? How does it make you feel?
Relaxing.
Relaxing. Oh, very nice. Yeah. And how about you, Sheena? Which one do you like the best?
I love this one too. It's very, I just visualize the fish swimming. I love the colors. It's very soothing color. It's very harmonious, you know. It's like me drinking tea and just seeing it. It's very peaceful. The flowers and you know the fish. Just my imagination is moving, but it's just very nice. It's just you know, it's just like very calming. And I love the picture of the lady reading. That the government purchase, the last one. Yeah, this one was, wow, he's that's an artist, because I can't do that. I can't draw that. That's very skillful. It makes me think very like me, just reading, just to calm my mind, enjoy what I'm reading. And I love the lamps and the colors. It's very homey, very, very nice.
Thank you, Christina. How about you, Christina? Which one do you like the best?
I like the fish one too.
Ah,
best.
and what do you like about this painting?
I like the colors and I like the fish anyway. And I like how it brings in like the flowers and stuff, like bringing in nature into the picture.
Yeah. And so as you're looking at all these different paintings, you can see how very different they are. And even though they're painted by the same artist, so this one, you see a lot of detail and very specific details that he's put into his flowers and the fish. And in this one, it feels a little looser, and it feels a little bit different from that last one. And this one looks completely different.
Yeah.
All the other ones. And then this one is quite different. This one is actually a very large canvas as well. So it is all done by the same artist. Now, an interesting thing about Henri Matisse was that he continued to change in his style, in the way that he painted, and the different subjects that he would paint. Now, looking at this one, this is called the dinner table, and it feels like I'm ready to sit down and have dinner with them as well.
Yeah.
And then here is one where he's done of a woman with a hat. Once again, very different in the details. Like here, it's very, very detailed with a lot of different things that he could focus on. And here is just a woman, and all the attention is on her face and her hat. And this is called the blue nude that he did of a woman. So one of the things about Henri Matisse, unlike a lot of other artists in the past, is that so many artists actually don't get to enjoy a lot of acknowledgement and popularity while they're alive. And a lot of people actually their works don't sell until they're often gone and when they're dead, because now that they're gone, it means no more art can be made by that artist. But Henri Matisse actually was able to enjoy a huge degree of notoriety, and he was able to sell a lot of his work. So born in 1869, and he didn't actually die until he was in his 80s. He enjoyed about 50 years of painting and doing a wide variety of different things. But unfortunately, he was also living during the First World War and the Second World War. And as Sheena was saying, during times of uncertainty and war, there's a lot of disruption. People can enjoy art, but there's little time for people to make art, as well as especially very little money for people to buy art, just because of all the uncertainties that were going on. Hello, Pat. Sorry, that was my cat that decided to walk past.
Oh, nice.
My computer here. So now one of the things about Henri Matisse, though, is that when he was in his 70s, he was diagnosed with cancer. And this cancer, actually, he was operated on it. And then he almost died after the operation. It was a very severe operation. And he spent 3 months in bed. And being an artist, he was somebody who was always up and standing and painting and being very, very creative. But after this operation, he was unable to stand and walk the way that he had been able to for so very long. And he was actually now confined to a wheelchair. And one of the things that, because of this disability, and when we are faced with a disability, it literally changes our lives. It changes the things that we do. And here he was, an extremely talented artist, now unable to stand at his canvas and unable to do the work that he had loved doing for so many decades. So he got creative, which was one of the things about creativity, is that no matter what gets thrown at us, we can find a new way to find some wisdom, find some the lessons that we can learn from it. And so one of the things that Henri Matisse discovered was that he could now do a different kind of art. And if you look on the floor, what do you see around him? Angie, what do you see on the floor?
Paper.
Yeah, paper. Now, back in his days, paper that was already colored was actually not something that was, you couldn't just walk into a store and buy construction paper. So back then, what he did was he would get his assistant to take rolls of paper and paint them the color that he wanted. So as you can see on the floor, he had numerous colors of sheets of paper. And then what he did was he actually got his scissors and started cutting out different shapes. He couldn't get out of bed to paint at his canvas, but he was able to sit in his chair or in his bed or wherever it was, and he was able to cut out these different shapes with his scissors. And some of his most amazing works that Henri Matisse was able to do came after his cancer diagnosis. So here we have this is the story of Icarus. Now, this is a Greek myth about a young man that flew too close to the sun, and I think he had built wings and he flew too close to the sun, and it melted the wax that was holding his wings together, and he fell to the ground. So here, this is a picture that Henri Matisse cut out to create this story of Icarus. And here he continued the same thing, where he painted out shapes of a woman who is nude. And so you can see that each piece of paper is of a different shape. And he enjoyed finding different ways of cutting and creating the same subject. So here you can see him cutting and assembling. He would get his assistants to put these shapes on different places. He had a long pole where he would point at different places and different positions of where he wanted these things. And look how big it is. It looks like his whole wall is covered with these shapes that he had cut out. So what do you think those shapes represent? Christina, what do you think? What do you see on that wall there?
I see, like, I don't know, leaves maybe.
Maybe leaves?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. Angie, what do you see in the
It's like wallpaper.
Yeah, so it looks like wallpaper that he's making. Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Sheena? What do you see?
Yeah, that's what it's just. It's so long. It's almost like imagine, like you're right, like the wallpaper, but it's like in a forest where all these leaves are falling, you know, just falling. It makes me feel so small because of the giant wallpapers of I don't know, forest leaves or something. Just wonderful color, interesting shapes and colors of leaves. So it's very wow, I don't know. It's inspiring.
Yes, and it looks like there might be some butterflies or
That's
butterflies
right.
in there as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, and little apples or something. I don't know. You know, just very
Yeah.
creative. His brain is just wow. Just expands into different forms and I don't know. Just wow. He's awesome.
He is. So here is another one that he put together called the Snail. Now, I'm not quite sure why he would call it a snail, but that's what he called it. And this is actually quite a large piece of art as well, too. And here is the mural that he did of a continuation of those pieces that were similar to the one that we saw here.
Wow.
And so here it looks like in this collection, it looks like there's even a woman sort of like jumping into, possibly into, you know, it reminds me of, you know, how after you've raked leaves in the fall, you know, children love to jump into that pile of leaves. But look how large this mural was, and
yes,
how
it's like
much
IKEA painting, you know, just the blue, just vibrant color.
Well,
very different. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And I know that IKEA has done prints of his work in their stores as well too. So maybe that's where you might have seen them before.
Yeah, blue and yellow it just stands out. Very very sharp.
So here he is with some more of his arrangements that he put together. And when you got so many different pieces all over the that you've cut out, you can assemble them in such a variety of ways. Even though you have the same pieces, you can shift them and move them and place them in different positions. So during a class that I did at UBC, I had cut out these pieces in different colors, and some were the same as the ones that Henri Matisse had. And I had my students assemble them in a way that they would like to assemble them. And these are some examples of what they did with them. So everybody got the same pieces, but they put them into different positions to create something that was different. So here are the same pieces, and here it looks like somebody is creating a horse.
Yeah.
And here are those same pieces. They're different colors, but once again, it looks very different. And so here somebody has shifted them around, and once again, it's quite different. Everybody had the same amount of pieces, but it's interesting how they all look so very different.
Yeah.
So if I gave these pieces to you, I know that what you would create would be very different from these things that are here. So one of the things that I love about the way that Henri Matisse did his work with the cutouts was it really says to me that so there is not one way of looking at something, that are there. You can have all the same pieces, but you can move them around. You can assemble, you can put them on top of each other. You can put them beside each other. You can move them into just such a variety of different positions. So as you can see, there are little pins that I gave to my students so that they could pin them on top of cork. So then that way, when they got tired of looking at their picture in this way, they could take it all apart and they could reassemble it into a different way so that they can enjoy it in such a variety of positions. So one of the things that we can learn from this is that no matter what we encounter in our lives, there is always more than one way of looking at something. And so when you think about, I'm just here, like for example, this is a little box. And now this is one of the things about art is called perspective. So perspective means when you look at something from a different perspective. So when I turn it this way, see how different it looked from when you were looking at on straight on. Now, what if you were to look at it from this perspective? And you can see that it looks very different again. So there are, now here, this one is on an angle. And you see how now it looks very different. But it's all the same thing. It's still a little box, but depending on how it is that you want to look at it, you're going to be able to capture it in a different way. So that is one of the things that I think Henri Matisse taught us, that even though he could not paint the same way that he was able to paint before, now he was able to find a new way of being creative. Now that he could paint and cut and assemble and create some things that would be appreciated by not just himself, but other people as well. So the program that I run is called Artful Living, and it is offered by the BC Brain Wellness Program, which is a part of UBC. And there are over 25 programs that are available to anybody who is interested in whether you have a brain condition or you're caring for somebody who has an illness, or if you just want to have better brain health. Because one of the things that we know about the brain is that the brain is constantly changing, that there is great neuroplasticity, and that by changing the way that we view things and look at things, we can actually change, literally change our brain. So I am just one of the 25 programs that is offered, and the website is there. So if anyone is interested in finding out more about these programs, go on to bcbrainwellness.ca. And my program is Artful Living. And our summer programs are going to be starting very soon in July. And one of the beautiful things is that the Brain Wellness Program, all the programs right now are at no cost to the public. And so it is a great way of connecting with one another, as well as being able to learn about different things. So some of the programs like I am one of 2 art programs that is taught there, and there are yoga classes, there are exercise classes, there are writing classes, there's a mindfulness class, just such a wide variety of classes that are available to you. So please feel free to go take a look at it, and maybe we'll see you at one of my classes. So in my program, I always end with homework to boost brain wellness, because we know that the brain is responsible for everything that we do. And we want to be able to do things that will foster good brain wellness. So I always give some homework for people to do. So whether you choose to do 1 or 2 or do all 4 of them, it is an opportunity for you to get active and do something that will foster better brain wellness. So number one, being in a place of gratitude and noticing how it makes you feel. As I was saying earlier about curiosity, curiosity is one of those things that will boost those feel-good hormones. So not just gratitude, but also curiosity and happiness and like so many different things that allow us to be able to do something that doesn't require us to take any drugs to feel good. So even just being in a place of joy and going out for a walk, that helps build endorphins, which is something else. It's actually our body's natural way of being a painkiller. So that is something, being in a place of gratitude will help us. So even if it's as simple as like having a gratitude journal, where every day before you go to bed or at the beginning of the day, you can just sit down and think of maybe 3 to 5 things that you can be grateful for. Because when you pay attention to how it is that you feel, it is so, that helps you to connect with yourself and really just to be present and mindful. So number 2, daily do something that's creative. So whether it is singing or whether it's cooking or drawing or painting or playing the piano, there are so many different ways that you can be creative. And number 3, find different ways to look at the same thing. So as I was saying about perspective, what are some different ways that we can look at things? So with COVID, and Michelle and I, before the class started, we were just talking about some of the silver linings that have come to us because of COVID. So I am really, really grateful that I know COVID was not, it was really hard on a lot of people, but yet at the same time, it slowed people down. It gave people an opportunity to kind of just reconnect with themselves even, and reconnect with those who are closest to them, and really slowed and put things on pause for a while. So let me ask you, what are some things that you are grateful for? Angie, what can you be grateful? What is something that you can be grateful for?
I have my 3 family.
And who are in your family?
My sister, my grandma, and me, and my niece, and 2 kids.
Wow. And what is it that you're grateful about your family?
We still love each other.
And how does that make you feel, knowing that you're there for each other?
Good, really good, awesome.
Yeah, you know that there are people that you can count on and that they're there to support you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Sheena? What are you grateful for? I know in your story that you've told me that, wow, you've been able to come through so very much, and now you're here in a country that you're free and you're safe, and you've come through those traumatic experiences that you've had to deal with has made you a better person. So what are you grateful for?
Yes, thanks for that. That's a new beginning. It's real hard, because I was so young, and my brother too. In terms of new beginning from Laos to a different culture. Like, whoa, there's no Chinese food. Like how do we begin from square one with no money? So yes, to live life with gratitude. That's hard, because there's many evilness in the world that hurts you from people who thought who I thought cared for me. So it's just gratitude. more self-awareness about myself. Let me see now. Okay, let me just take a breath. Hmm. Just grateful that I'm alive, and thank you for the nurses and the doctors and whoever have taken care of me and my dad and mom and my brother. But just in terms of how I'm recovering, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So a lot of hard work is within myself, where I have to take care of myself better. And it's hard when I can't help. You know, I'm human, and I'm when I'm hurt, I just couldn't understand, why would other people hurt me when they know that I'm already hurt, you see? So I like this, finding a different ways to look at the same thing. That's really, really hard. When I cried like a river and oceans of tears, exposing how what it's like living with recovering from a severe car accident, and then hoping to marry a person who I thought would be my caring husband. But that is, I found out that is, I'll be dead if I'm in that relationship. So it's really hard, got to get rid of, that's hard. That's not, violence is not love. And now I just have to be strong and hopefully be around people who believe that, yes, I cannot cry with tears, but I have real sorrow and pain. And I would like to educate everybody that, it's hard that I speak about the unspoken part, and I wanted kindness and help from others, so that they don't fight me. It's because I that's where I live in love and support and kindness and disrespect, because I've been disrespected, and that makes me think, wow, I'm the bad one. I've done something wrong. Like, I've cried, I can't cry. I had physical and mental and emotional pain. I'm getting sicker and I'm not believed. And so it's real hard, but now I'm just thankful that I've cleaned more of my house, and it's more organized, and I mow my grass, and just simple things of life. The grass is overgrown, so I'll just manually pick them off, instead of that machine that drives me nuts, the trimmer, for an hour. My neighbor would cut their grass, and then they go, with the trimmers afterwards. So I don't have that. So I just do it manually. I mean, there's overgrown grasses, so I just pick them, and I just pick them off. Although I have to be careful because my back hurts. So it's good to do a proper back exercise. So
that's one of the things that is so important that you bring up, is about self-care and awareness of ourselves, because no one, and so often we think it's somebody else's responsibility to take care of us, but really it's our responsibility. And knowing we are such complex individuals, that there is the emotional, there is the physical, there is the spiritual, there's the social, the intellectual, all that is so important for us to be aware of, and to really embrace that in making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And it is, so Sheena, you're right, there is a lack of kindness, but that kindness makes the hugest difference in the world today. There was an experiment that was done back in the 70s where they wanted to see the correlation between heart health and diet. And they had engaged a group of researchers, and they brought together these rabbits from New Zealand, and they were feeding these rabbits a high-fat diet. And after several months of feeding these rabbits, they discovered that it was true that this high-fat diet was causing the arteries to get blocked. But the interesting thing is that they could not figure out was that there was one group of these rabbits that were actually healthier than all the other rabbits. And they were very confused because all the rabbits had been fed the same high-fat diet, but yet somehow this small group of rabbits were healthier than all the other rabbits, and they couldn't figure it out. And for somebody who's a researcher, that is quite, that's not a good thing, because you've got to figure out what is causing the discrepancy here. And so they redid the experiment, and they noticed the same thing happened again. And the one thing that was the contributing factor of why these rabbits were actually healthier was because the researcher who was working with these rabbits was actually not just feeding them, but she was taking the time to be kind to them. She was holding them, she was petting them, she was talking to them. And even though they were eating the identically same foods as all the other rabbits, these rabbits were actually healthier because of the kindness that was being shown to these rabbits by this researcher. So they now know that kindness actually has a huge physiological effect on our health. And so that is why kindness can be so incredibly powerful. So not just being kind to other people, but it has to begin right here. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to be taking care of ourselves, so that way we can have maximal health. So, so I love the fact that, oh, and I guess Christina, I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to ask you. Please tell us what you are grateful for.
I'm grateful for my family and that we live in BC. It's so nice here, so.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That is wonderful. So I'm really grateful that you guys were grateful for the things that money can't buy, like family, like kindness. Yes, Angie.
I have to go.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really glad that you were here, and I'm almost done. And the last piece is reimagine what is possible. And I know that that is one of your questions from this Disability Association, was to reimagine what is possible. And part of that is, like number 3, finding different ways to look at the same thing and to think outside the box, because really it's when we put ourselves in that place of imagination, that's where things are created. So be mindful of your thoughts, because if you think, oh, I can't do this, guess what's going to happen? Your brain, your mind is actually telling you that it can't be done. So, instead of saying it can't be done, go with this perspective of what can I do differently? And then the brain, because you're asking the question, what can I do differently? The brain will now come up with the answers. So pay attention to your thoughts, because it's how we imagine that is, the imagination is the thing that creates. And so that is what I have to share today about artful living, about how we can take the things that we're all given and find new ways to be with it. So tell me what's resonated with you ladies today in the things that I've shared. Christina, what's like, yeah, what a great idea. Something that you would like to run with.
Probably just to try to do something different every day.
And what do you think that will do for you when you do that?
Challenge me, maybe.
I like that. And what would be important about challenging yourself?
So that you don't keep on the same routine or something like that.
Love it. Thank you, Christina. How about you, Sheena?
What you said, we really connect in terms of the power of kindness. It comes from the heart and love, it's yes. I've done things that scares me off, like cut my own hair. So that's really, and I haven't gone back to, because I love it so much. How I would, it takes a long time, because I never cut my own hair before. I know how to cut. I just use a regular scissor why not? Let's do it, So it's always a different style. And so now I'm just thinking of maybe I'll let it grow longer. It just suits my personality or whatever. But that's, because I can no longer sew. I used to be I want to become a fashion designer. And that's a creativity. That's a far ways. But getting back to what you've said is to simplify my life and not trying to recognize that I'm overburning. I'm doing too much because I'm tired. I want to appreciate my cooking. I've taken a lot of effort to just sort of create, and putting a lot of like garlics and onions and whatever, like in a slow cook, then make sure that I don't cut my fingers when I haven't really cut things, but like the baby carrots, there are, I never wash them, but then I was like, why not? Because I thought if you wash them, the vitamins be gone. But anyway, I just cut them more into little pieces, just put everything in the slow cooker. And then, and to use fennel seeds and rosemary seeds. So that's another area of explorations, besides the artwork, because it's an expression of you. And it's also the expression and the creativity. Like you paint this, and then a lot of people would interpret it differently. So this is how I think of it. But then, just like when you sing a song, it's a way you sing or something of that. So the songs that come from it's really painful. It's hard to sing my revealing my truth song. So it's a painful songs like Enough is Enough. I try to make it cheerful, but it's not cheerful, because I don't want to cry over it, because I've cried over creating the lyrics. But anyway, there's that intellect, a different instead of reading a book, it's another intellect that can be expanded. And so it's just the audience or something. So bad audiences, and there's some good audiences too. But I'm just happy that I've broken bones, but I'm in one piece. And I thank you for listening to how very educational you are, and very very wise. So it's a lot to learn from you. And thank you for offering these free courses. If I have time, I hope I'll be able to connect and know how to do that.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Sheena. Thanks, Christina. It was so nice to meet you both. Well, all four of you. And so have fun. Go be creative and just boost that brain wellness. All right?
Yes, right.
All right.
Okay. And if they can email me the free things that you said in terms of, remember you said, I wrote it down. The things that Artful Living or something that you said, like there's is it Christina? I just have Disability Foundation. So hopefully if she can email me that, hopefully I can send that. I mean, click that.
Gina, this information will be online and on our YouTube channel and on the disability website.
And on the what sort?
The Disability Foundation.
Oh, really? On it or something? Okay. Thank you then. Okay. Yes. Thanks for connecting. Thank you. I forgot your name. Jean Ward. Yes. Have a great day. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Bye, Sheena.
Bye-bye.